Okay, welcome to the aviation sector. No, sorry. Let's talk about Nigeria's aviation sector. You know, there are experts that are going to discuss this, but a good number of things have been said about this sector. Poor legislation, absence of coherent air sector or air transport policy, cost of airline operation, poor management, lack security, underutilization of equipment, and so many other factors at the aviation sector, experts complain, are affecting the growth of the industry in Nigeria. Now, despite the obstacles, we understand that concerted efforts are being made to address these issues and implement supportive regulatory measures deemed essential for Nigerian carriers to thrive in an ever-evolving aviation landscape. Of course, a good number of people know that the United Nigeria Airlines has suspended with immediate effect its flight dispatcher who gave the wrong dispatch code on its flight NUA 0504 departing from Lagos to Abuja on Sunday.
That ended up in Abuja.
That ended up elsewhere. A close source to the airline confided in our correspondent on Wednesday that the flight dispatcher, who had been working with it since its inception about 3 years, was issued a suspension letter on Tuesday. Conversations around this and several others, and of course, it's not only United Nigeria. There are those who are also pointing to the intervention of the federal government through its subsidiary of sorts, how well are we handling ARIC Air, aero contractors as a nation, and all those other issues. Let's have that conversation this morning with Chris Aligbe, who is an aviation consultant. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning. Thank you.
As well as Mr. Yomi Agoro, President, National Association of Air Traffic Controllers. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you. It's the Nigerian Air Traffic Controllers
Nigerian Air Traffic Controllers Association.
Yeah,
okay, thank you. You understand what happened. We understand that this flight dispatcher gave the wrong dispatch code. Can you give us a background to that for those who are wondering?
I cannot authoritatively say that until the investigation by the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority
it's concluded.
Reveal what actually happened.
Okay.
Because we can't keep the blame on the dispatcher alone. A lot of things which are supposed to have happened for them to have been able to checkmate or detect where the error is. We're not talking about that.
Yes. Such so as
if
what are these other things?
If the crew have had a pre-flight briefing, then there's no way a dispatcher will give a wrong code and the pilot also will go there. That's one thing. And I think I want the investigation from the NCA to be conducted thoroughly and then let us know where exactly the error comes from.
You agree with him, sir?
Certainly. What has been very wrong in our country is that whenever there's an incident or accident, people jump into conclusions. No, it doesn't happen. Only a professional without his standards will only tell you that. What happens when accidents happens of this nature, things of this nature, incident, they leave the NSIB. That's the authority with statutory function to investigate and say this is what happened. Anybody who rushes to the station to tell you this happened, that happened, that person is not worth his professional standard. That's the truth. So that's why what he's saying, I can tell you now, this is exactly what happened. What we know that happened is that an airline was to go carry passengers to Abuja and he went to Asaba. That's the fact that are indisputable.
We wait
for the till results. The authorities and any other person who comes ask whether he's speaking from the authoritative point of view.
Okay.
That's what they say. NCAA, NSIB, but NSIB first before NCAA.
Okay. Now, a number of things have happened in the last month or so in that sector. one skidding off the runway, another one crash landing somewhere. All kinds of things are happening, which brings one to ask the question, how healthy is our aviation sector right now, Chris?
Thank you. I will see to us that our aviation sector is healthy.
It is.
Why
are you saying that with your eyes closed? Please open your eyes.
Okay,
Thank you.
My eyes. I'll say that from the regulatory point of view, our aviation sector is healthy. In terms of the type of aircraft we are operating today, many of our airlines have bought new modern equipment. On that side, it's healthy. But there's a point where we all should bother about. There's deficiency in knowledge capacity. Knowledge capacity is very low. Like what my brother just said, there should be, before an aircraft takes off, there should be crew briefing at the briefing room. There should be crew at the briefing room. Everybody will know what the situation is. The spotter is there, the crew, cabin crew is there, and then the pilot, the technical crew. They know, they have clear focus on where they are going to. That is a professional standard. It didn't appear. I don't know whether this happened, but until they finished investigation. And secondly, the technical crew also, when they come in here, particularly the aircraft is a wet leased aircraft.
Yeah.
It's not flown by Nigerians. They go through normal processes. That's one. And every airline, or most serious airline, will have a crew, a room, aircraft movement control room. There, you will see all your aircraft in the air. Arik, I know, had this room. If you sat there, all their aircraft, whether it was going to London or going to US, you see it. So if any aircraft is going the wrong direction, they will identify it there. So it doesn't appear to me that this crew monitoring, that this monitoring room exists with the airlines. I say it doesn't appear. I've not gone to their crew center, but if it's there, they would have identified straight away that this aircraft is not going to where it's supposed to be going to. So there are some deficiencies, but the critical thing is knowledge capacity. The professionals who are in those, many of those who are in the industry, particularly in the airline subsector, they have not sat down to learn. They are not learning, and if they don't learn, they will not do everything right. But when they come, the mere fact that somebody is an operator, is an airline owner or operator, does not translate to the knowledge. You can be an airline operator, a businessman, you don't bother about what is happening. You hire professionals to run the place.
Yes.
I see. So that is the situation. So when you say airline operators, some airline operators, or many of them, don't have the competence, the knowledge capacity. You are not say anything derogatory about them. They are not supposed to. What they're supposed to do, hire those professionals with that level of competence. In some airlines, you have people with that level of competence. I keep giving an example of Ibom Air. Ibom Air Udom was an airline pilot.
Right.
George Uresi and all the engineers, SCN, all of them there, they have been in there, so they developed that level of competence. Even the small airline, Boyo, that Overland has developed this over time. So this is what. So we are not talking down on anybody, but we are saying stark reality.
Isn't that the reason that AMCON stepped in, because some of these airlines aren't doing what is expected of them?
No.
Help us understand that.
An illiterate cannot go into a secondary school saying that it's not properly well in order to run it. AMCON. I don't want to. I've written a lot of AMCON. AMCON is an undertaker. His entry into the airline subsector, he entered this as an undertaker. You can't enter a place, you're going to turn it around. That takes place at 13 aircraft operational. By the time today they have only 2, 1737 and 1 Q4.
Who is this?
Arik.
Yeah,
Arik, and completely ran it aground.
Well, I think and on the issue of the Outcome came with an intention to recover the money they feel they have loaned to the airline. And when you come with that kind of intention, definitely your priority will be how to recoup your money. But you know, in aviation, the profit margin is something that is lean. That obviously, you make the money and you reinvest it into the industry. So in this scenario, you can't expect more than what we have right now. But I think the airline, for me, I'm not an airline person. I expect the airline to have a kind of a merger, put resources together and let us, even if it's only one airline we're going to have in the country.
That is
let
working
it be
properly.
Something, yes, but this is my own, that is your own. That is why the whole everywhere is just like that. And if you look at the number of airlines that have died in this country, you find out the same problem is what is Maji. Now we're talking of airborne simply because we have a good brand there. We have some few professionals, and the state is really ready to fund. Right now, they are doing very well. If they now bring the wrong people, you will now start seeing that it is going to nosedive. So, but on the aspect of whether the industry is doing well or not, I can tell you the Nigerian aviation sector has been doing very well, tremendously.
You know, when you both say that the aviation sector is doing well, it's the experience of the Nigerian that is making the difference. So when you say it is doing well and people get delayed for hours, some have to spend their nights in the airport, and the airfares, no one is even talking to them. There's a Bill of Rights is literally mashed on the ground. No one is talking to anyone when the flights are delayed, and you are saying the aviation sector is doing well.
But please, let me say, I didn't say aviation sector is doing well.
Okay.
I said regulation. Regulation is fine. We have standard regulation.
So
anywhere.
if regulation is standard, part
yes.
of the expectation of the Nigerian is that it is supposed to be part of regulatory responsibilities to ensure that when flights are delayed
or cancelled, you put me in a hotel.
People are giving
you give me food.
I agree. You know, there are two aspects of regulation.
Yes.
There's technical and safety regulation. There's consumer protection regulation. That's
protection.
18 and 19. In that area, we have not done well.
Yeah.
But when you are talking about safety and this thing,
we agree.
Yes, but I agree. Nigerians
the Nigerian
yes.
takes safety for granted.
Yes.
Here's the point. The Nigerian takes safety for granted. You are in the air because you don't want to lose your aircraft and you want to make money. Luxury. That's what the Nigerian is interested in. Or anyone who is flying at any time. So please help us understand.
Let me tell you, you are correct. The area of economic regulation and consumer protection, we have been very poor in that area since 2012, when Demure brought in the Pass 18 and 19 for consumer protection and economic regulation. We have not managed to grow up in that area. I know NCA has done quite a lot, but it's not showing, and is a major problem for the industry. So when people complain about the industry, passengers, all these things we are talking about, when airlines talk, they talk about themselves. Oh, we need this to do this. Nobody ever talks about the challenges of passengers. All that we have today in the industry is we are not focused on passengers. Airlines don't focus on passengers. The little that the authorities do, like NCAA, the airlines are not even prepared to listen. They do what they want to do. So we need stringent enforcement in the area of passenger rights passenger rights protection and adherence to the passenger rights, we need stricter enforcement. And if we don't do it, it's one reason why our airlines cannot, I say it, up as they are today, have any interlining arrangement or plug into global airlines or standard. There's something that is called carrier liability. If, for example, airline A or Lufthansa has a relationship with any of our airlines and flies somebody who is going to Owerri, drops him in Lagos for the local airline that has to take the person to Owerri, and the flight is cancelled or delayed, that passenger has a right to sue if he doesn't have restitution. But stringent, he will not sue the Nigerian carrier. He will sue Lufthansa because in EU they take those things seriously. So the liability of this failure is transferred to the airline you have a relationship with. That is why for a long time this will be the situation. Our airline will not get into global alliances, Star Alliance, World War, SkyTeam. They will not until the standard is remarkably improved. That is our situation for today. But you will tell them, they think, oh, you are running them down. We are not running them down.
Mr. Adigbe, once upon a time, it was said globally that the Nigerian airspace was the safest airspace in the world. Is that still being said? Is it still true of our airspace?
I want to tell you the truth. It is true. The number.
Thank you, Lord.
Okay. The number that is in place. You have excellent professionals in NAMA, Airspace Management Agency. Okay. They just brought a new MD. The last government. Taib is sound in terms of his professional standing, but even in NAMA there's an encyclopedia for airspace issues. You find it in one man called Matthew Pajok. Pajok is an encyclopedia in airspace issues, and but the new MD is just assumed duty. But our airspace is safe, I can tell you, to the extent that Emirates were asking Nigeria to create a flight plan to them to Brazil. They want to pass through. So if our airspace is not safe, they will not be asking NAMA to do that. We have challenges, we are not up there, but our airspace is very, very safe.
Okay.
He's an ATC man. He can tell you.
Okay. Another issue that bothers passengers is the issue of aircraft maintenance. What words of encouragement, or what can you say to give us some confidence? Because sometimes you get into an aircraft and you look around in the aircraft and you just say, Lord, I'm in your hands. The aircraft takes off and the sounds you hear are even more scary than what you have seen. Then you make another sign of the cross, and we hear about some airlines not being able to afford their checks and having to do them locally sometimes. How confident are we at this point that those checks can be done successfully locally?
I think.
You want to weigh in?
Yes, please.
I think the MRO we have now, some of them can do.
What is MRO, please? Please speak English.
No, it's a maintenance.
Repair and overhaul.
Okay.
For aircraft.
Thank you.
And like Hero already have one, which is has been certified. I'm sure they can also do C-check, up to C-check. Right now, Akwa Ibom is trying to float their own MRO. But one thing again is that, like Oga said, when passengers see some things, you should be able to write and follow it up. Like the one you said now, you enter an aircraft and you feel that the inside is not welcoming. You can't put up and then the airworthy surveyors and the NCA. But there are regulations for this airline. You may find the inside not comfortable, but the engine and whatever is already overall. That's why I said that it's not as if that the sector is that bad, but there are challenges, just like the airspace issue he mentioned about NAMA. NAMA is doing well, but at the same time, there are still challenges. And without challenges, all of us will not be even here. So all we need to do is how do we resolve it. Most of these parastatals we are saying, government is taking 40% of their IGR, leaving them with 60%. And at the end of the day, there is little to what they can achieve.
Okay, let's begin to cost home. So, Mr. Agoro,
yes,
the minister this time around has been quite vocal.
The
Minister of Aviation
okay,
has been quite vocal in recent time. In terms of urgent to-dos, he's been making some pronouncements in recent time, things that need to be done. We know that the previous administration or administrations paid a lot of attention to infrastructure, the airlines and all those things. Given what Mr. Aligwe said the other time about safety for passengers and experience of Nigerians using the aviation sector, the airport and all, what are the things that you would want him to pay attention to if we are to remain on top, given what Mr. Aligwe said the other time?
Well, we should first thank the government for bringing Mr. Festus Keyamo. He's a senior lawyer, and I think all the litigation issues we have in the industry, he can use his word of
expertise.
Yes, to resolve that, because I believe that is one of the problems we do have. We have quite a number of Nigerian stakeholders. Everybody are with divergent opinion. He should take time to listen to everyone and decide on where he wants to do. Because one of the problems I've seen with Nigerians' development is simply because we're many and everybody is coming with all kind of idea. And once a government leaves, there is no continuity. I thank God you said the previous administrations have done some things. He should sustain those ones. Then where he feels things are not going very well, he should let us know. Because as far as I'm concerned, he has made many of the pronouncements. Now, as he's doing the talking, he should also do the acting.
Okay. The conversations with the airline operators has also been something, Mr. Aligwe. Recently, he hosted, some of them, and he was saying, look, you guys are going to have to start paying for the consequences of not airlifting Nigerians as and when due. How, given what you both said about the very lean profits margin in the aviation sector, how is that? What's your assessment of that comment, and how would you say aviation, the airline operators should receive it?
Should be
receive
it.
The fact is a standard thing. If we must advance in this industry, we must look at all aspects of the industry. And if we cannot look at, you see, the center, the focus in this aviation is the passenger, the air travel passenger. There are millions of them. Today it is terrible. When we are arguing, oh, don't do this airline, don't do this, we are not thinking of the passengers. And that is what is, if you establish airlines to fly passengers from one point to the other, if you do well, if you do it well, profitably, your profit margin will increase. It's lean. But if you don't do it well, you will not be profitable. So do it well, and the way you do it well, take care of the passengers that you've established your services to fly. If you don't do that, your profit margin will be low. But the fact of the matter, today, we are talking about, see, when I see arguments about, oh, this airline, that's a Nigeria, Ethiopian airline, what I see is Nigerians today fly Royal Air Maroc, if they are going to London or to US. They fly Tunis Air.
Africa.
Africa doesn't come again. They fly this, and the shortest distance to UK is Nigeria, UK, Lagos, yes. UK straight. Yeah. But sooner than later, if we don't get our acts together, Nigerians will fly not only to Ghana, where it is cheaper, it will be cheaper from Lome, from Togo, because Air Skies will funnel Nigerian passengers into Lome, and they have a relationship with ET. ET will fly them to London. Okay. Yes, so we are shooting ourselves on the leg. We must focus on passengers. Anytime you see people presenting one thing or another, they talk about the airlines, they talk about themselves, not on the passengers. And like he says, the minister, the only advisor, let him listen to every minister, every person, every stakeholder, and there are professionals. If you want to talk about safety and security today, go and get Olusegun Demure. That is number one. Go and get many of them that are there. So minister has access to these people. But when people surround him, people who don't know, and begin to tell him all sorts of things, push in what Bishop Cook called unprocessed emotion.
Oh my God.
It's unprocessed emotion.
Chris Aligwe, aviation consultant, thank you so much for your time this morning. Christ Jesus. And Mr. Yomi Aguru, who is the president of the Nigerian Air Traffic Controller Association, NATCA. Thank you so much for your time this morning. Well, thank you. There's going to be a lot of eating and drinking, even though there's going to be a lot of traveling. And one of the consequences that could result is what we're talking about next on Lifestyle. Just stay with us.